Alright guys, today I'm going to talk to you about subtracting across zeros. I'm going to show you a few strategies that I've showed the kids along the way. First of all, let's start with the regular algorithmic way. I'm just going to go and put regular here. This is the regular way that we normally subtract. So we take 4,000 minus 365. And today I'm going to be talking specifically about just subtracting across zeros. A lot of times this skill gives the kids a hard time and they have a lot of trouble with all the regrouping that needs to happen. Okay, so this is the regular way that you do it. So can we take 5 away from 0? No, we have to go to the tens place. Can we regroup there? No, go to the hundreds place. And then finally we have to go all the way to the thousands place to regroup. So we're going to, in essence, take 1,000 away and get 10 hundreds there. So we're going to continue this process. 10 take away, that becomes a 9. Make this a 10, take 1 away from that, that becomes a 9. And then finally the ones place, the 0 becomes a 10. So we have 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 6 is 3. 9 minus 3 is 6. And 3 minus nothing is 3 right there. Okay, so we have 3,635. And again, this is our regular way of doing subtracting across zeros, which is fine. I mean, if the kids can get it and understand this way, I would love for them to stick with this. But a lot of times the kids have a little bit of trouble. So I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that we help the kids understand subtracting across zeros using a different strategy, okay? We're going to call this the subtract 1 strategy. And I'm going to take the same numbers that I'm using up here. So I'm going to take 4,000 minus 365. And this strategy to subtract 1, it works when you have a nice number like this where you have a 0 in the ones place, a 0 in the tens place, and even if you have a 0 in the hundreds place as well. This is a nice round number that we can work with. Now the main thing that you need to remember when you do the subtract 1 strategy is whatever you do to the top, which we're going to subtract 1, you do to the bottom. So in essence, we're just going to be subtracting 1 from the 4,000 and 1 from 365. And once we take that 1 away, we won't have to worry about the zeros at all. So this becomes 3,999. Once I take 1 away, and then I'm going to subtract this one, I'm going to take 1 away from our bottom number, 364. And now I can subtract just like regular. So 9 minus 4 is 5, sorry. 9 minus 6 is 3. 9 minus 3 is 6. And then bring your 3 down. 3,635, which is what we had up here with our regular subtraction. Now, I have to explain to my kids sometimes why this works. So let's say I'm talking with the students and I say, okay, I'm 37 years old. Okay, you are 8 years old right now. Okay, even if we subtract this, okay, which is 8, 2, 7, 9, which is 29, even if we go up another year, every year we go up, we change both numbers, it's still going to end up being the same exact number, okay? 9, 2, let's say 39 minus 10, 9, 2. So it doesn't matter. Every time that we go up 1 year, we have to go up with the student's age as well. So the same idea we have up here. So 4,000 minus 1, 365 minus 1, and we take away those zeros. We'll do one more example with that subtract 1 strategy. Let's go with 600 minus, let's go with 472. Alright, now we subtract 1 from that top number, subtract 1 from that bottom number. This is going to give us 599. And then we're going to take 1 away, minus 471. 9 minus 1 is 8. 9 minus 7 is 2. 5 minus 4 is 1. So that leaves us with 128. Now, the reason why we use this strategy, which is subtract 1, is it just helps us to get rid of these zeros. A lot of times, like I said, students have a lot of trouble regrouping, going all the way to the hundreds place, all the way to the thousands place, and regrouping from those numbers. This is going to keep them from having to worry about that. And again, this works when you have a nice round number like this. So that's the subtract 1 strategy. And we can always check it. We can always do the regular algorithmic way here. We can't take 2 away from 0, so we're going to regroup. We have to regroup all the way to the hundreds. This becomes a 5, that becomes a 10. We're going to regroup, that becomes a 9, and finally our ones place becomes a 10. 10 minus 2 is 8, 9 minus 7 is 2, 5 minus 4, 1. 128, 128, the same exact answer. Okay, I have one more strategy. This one's going to be a little new. We're going to call it the box it strategy. Okay, and we're going to take very similar numbers and we're going to be boxing in a certain number to show you how to do the subtracting across zeros with it. So let's go ahead and take, we can take the same numbers. Let's say 4,000 minus 365. Now this is a whole nother strategy. I already showed you the regular way of doing it. This is the second strategy. The regular way is the first strategy. If they're having trouble with that, they can do the subtract 1 strategy. And if they're having trouble with that, here's another option that they can do. So the box it strategy, what we're going to do here is we're going to be boxing in the place value to the left of our 0. Okay, so we have our first 0 here. We can't take 5 away from nothing. Okay, so we're going to have to regroup. Now, what we're going to do, it's the same idea as a subtract 1, but we're going to be just boxing in the 0 that's next to it. We keep going until we see an actual number, an actual digit that's higher than 0. So once we find that digit, we're going to box it in, and we're going to think about this number as 400. Yes, this is still 4,000, but we're going to call it 400 tens, because if you look over here, if we do 400 times 10, that's 4, it's still going to end up being 4,000. So let's come back over here. We're going to look at this 400 that we boxed in. We're going to regroup, make that 399, and then we make this 0 into a 10. So we're regrouping from this 400. We're in essence just going to borrow, okay? So we're going to borrow 1 and bring it over here, but we call it regrouping. We're regrouping and we're bringing this 0 and we're making it a 10, 10 ones. So now we can subtract. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 6 is 3. 9 minus 3 is 6. And we bring our 3 down. 3,635. And that's what we had up here. And that's what we had over here. So I'm just showing you 3 different ways of doing subtraction. So let's go ahead and do it again. Now, this box it strategy is really great because it works when you are going to have some zeros in the middle of your number. The subtract 1 strategy doesn't work that same way. The subtract 1 only works when you have that 0 in the ones place and you have a nice round number like this, which they're going to have several of them. The box it strategy you can do whenever you have to regroup right here in the ones place, regardless of if it's a 0 or if it's a 1, and if you have some zeros up here in the middle. So let's go ahead and try that. Okay, let's say I'm going to take some similar numbers up here. Let's take 4,002 minus 365. We can do that. All right. So I'm looking at this 5. Can I take 5 away from 2? No. But I have some zeros here. And again, we can always do the regular algorithmic way of subtracting, which is great. If the students are able to do that without any problem, I want them to do the regular algorithmic way. But again, some students are having trouble coming all the way over to the thousands place and regrouping, making this a 10, crossing it out, making it a 9, and then bringing it over. So what we're going to do is, since we are going to have to regroup here anyway, I'm going to come over here and start my box with the zeros, come all the way over, and now I have 400 again. Now this 400, again, I'm going to regroup, make this 399, which is 399 tens, and we're going to bring that other 10 right there. And then I do my regular subtraction. 12 minus 5, 7, 9 minus 6, 3, 9 minus 3, 6, and then 3 minus nothing is 3. Now again, this number is different than this number because we had 4002. I can check it for you guys by doing the regular algorithmic way of doing subtraction. So can I take 5 away from 2? No. So I'm going to go over to my tens place. I can't regroup. Go all the way to my hundreds place. Can't regroup. Go all the way to my thousands place. This becomes a 3. I bring a 10 over, regroup, 10 over, regroup, and then that 2 becomes 12. Now I can do my regular subtraction. 12 minus 5 is 7. 9 minus 6 is 3. 9 minus 3 is 6. And 3 minus nothing is 3. Again, 3,637, 3,637. Again, this is just another strategy, another way for them to do subtracting across zeros for those students that do have trouble doing the regular way. Okay, so I just showed you 1, 2, there's 3 options of doing subtracting across zeros. One of those options should work for the kids. They just have to figure out what's the best way for them to do it. Again, if they are perfectly fine doing the regular way and they get it, no problem, then stick with that. These other options are for those students that are having trouble, that are struggling, that keep regrouping the wrong way, adding 10 when they don't need to add 10, or regrouping, making it a 10 before they regroup, those kind of things. So again, there's 3 strategies for subtracting across zeros. One of them should help, and we're just going to keep working, okay? I wanted to show you this because they've been bringing some subtraction home. I just wanted you to be aware of what we're doing in class.